Not going to lie, we wanted to come on to this show and have the celebration for, reaching the Eastern Conference Finals after 6 games in this series. It's not to be. The silver lining is, and I know it's hard to find right now, Sixers fans, but there is a Game 7. And there is still a chance. And they have won 2 games in Boston in this series. But, Jim, let's start as we welcome you here to Sixers PostGame Live, brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance, with just the overall effort in this one. I mean, you look at the score, 86 points. The last field goal was, under a minute to go. They didn't have a field goal in 6 minutes to close this one. That's well under their average. Yeah,
you're nailing it, Aim. I said if the Sixers to win this game, I thought they had to do what they did all year long. Score the ball up in the range of 115 points. You talk about Mr. Marc. They scored 86 points in this game. I thought their defense was more than acceptable to win a basketball game, but they struggled big time at the offensive end.
Marc, why do you think that was? We saw them come out with such fire in Boston right from the jump, setting the tone. And we said in the pregame show, if they do that, then it's going to go just how Game 1 did, Game 4, and Game 5. They didn't do that. There was a lot of hesitation. Was it the moment?
I don't think it was a moment, Amy. What I do believe is Boston, give credit to Boston when Carter was due. They outplayed the Sixers tonight, especially late in that game. With that being said, the Sixers, hurt themselves.
Yeah.
There was a lot of opportunities in the first quarter, second quarter, where they had a chance to make shots or make plays happen. They just did not happen. Sixers couldn't get it done. I thought Joel started slow. James started slow, finished slow. Other guys didn't come through. At one point, I thought we had them. I thought we had them on the ropes, but then they kept coming at us downhill. We couldn't do nothing about it.
I mean, if you told me that you're going to hold Jason Tatum scoreless in the first half and only be down 7, and then come all the way back, take the lead, and Tatum still hasn't done anything, I thought, well, sure, they're absolutely going to get the win. You cannot let them hang around when Jason Tatum, one of the best NBA players in the league, first-team All-NBA, he's going to heat up. And you saw him back-to-back three-pointers. But 24-13 in the final frame, Jim. I mean, that is 13 points with the game on the line in the fourth.
Yeah, to me, Aim, that's just an extension of the game. Just looking, the Sixers shoot 36% from the field, and the team that was the best three-point shooting team in the league goes 8 for 34 from 3. I mean, you're not, plain and simple, you can talk all you want. You're not going to win in the playoffs against a team the caliber of the Boston Celtics on your home court with those numbers, plain and simple.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, there were parts of this time of this series that you thought the Celtics probably should have been the 1 seed because they are that good, and you had them on the ropes. And I think that's where everybody's going to be just reeling from this. And the good news is that there is still a chance to take them out and to beat Boston for the first time in the playoffs since 1982 and to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals since 2001. But right now, they're left looking for answers, and I hope that they find them because they got to do some soul searching before that Game 7 on Sunday. We do not know that time. We'll get that for you as soon as we do. It depends on some of the other series. But let's check out our Colonial Nissan Game Changer. We were just talking about him. He's an All-NBA first team along with Joel Embiid, and it is Jason Tatum, specifically his 4 threes in the fourth. This guy was having a horrible shooting night, Marc Jackson. It was almost like strange how poor he was shooting. And then he's not particularly a good three-point shooter, but apparently the fourth quarter is exactly what he needs, Marc.
Absolutely. He got hot, and that's what great players do. They know when a number's called, they might not be there all the time, but eventually they're going to get there. And he was late to the party, but he made an entrance. And he said in his he feels as though he's one of the best players in the world. And he has great teammates. Jaylen Brown kept him afloat until he got busy.
I mean, his numbers, 5 of 21. He had 1 2-point bucket. 1. And you don't win the game. And not only do you not win the game, you lose by, well, I mean, yes, they got that 1 field goal late in the game, but you basically lost by double digits, Jim.
Yeah, I think Marc said a really telling thing, Aim. You have to give the Celtics team credit. And I noticed it during the game, a number of them on many occasions coming up to Tatum, like, hang in there, my man.
Yeah.
And, despite, he knows he's one of the best players on the planet. You heard him say it. But it helps when you're going through a struggle like that to be reinforced by your teammates. Hang in there, brother. Keep it going. Don't back off.
One of those guys was Marcus Smart, getting right in his face and saying that, saying, we got you. And Marcus Smart did help pick him, Jason Tatum up, and so he could come through with that fourth quarter. Let's go downstairs and check in with Kate Scott, who joins us now inside the Wells Fargo Center courtside. And Kate, listen, I mean, we can't sugarcoat it. This is disappointing. The good news is there is a Game 7, and they have proven that they can win in Boston. And that is something, I'm a positive person. I generally try to look on the bright side, so I'm trying to do that. But this is tough. It's a tough pill to swallow when you look at it overall, that it was there for the taking, especially late when they took the lead for the first time late in the game. And to kind of just, I don't know, lackluster. What did you see out there?
Well, Amy, this is what playoff stories are, right? This is what movies are made of. You think you've got it, and then all of a sudden Boston comes back earlier in the series, and then the Sixers punch back, winning an overtime game here, then going up to Boston and taking a game that they weren't supposed to win. And then what do the Celtics do? They come back down to Philly, and they take one that it looked like the Sixers were going to take. This is why these are a couple of the most storied franchises, not just in the NBA, but in sports across the world. I was getting texts from all over the world tonight. People were tuned in, watching this game. And yeah, obviously we're all feeling the hurt, but that's an important part of sports as well. You got to feel the hurt. You got to allow this to motivate you for the next one. So, as you mentioned already, Sixers have taken 2 in Boston already this series. They were one of the best road teams in the NBA all season. So, feel the hurt tonight because it stinks. The Sixers had this one. But Jason Tatum is an all-star, one of the best players in the NBA for a reason.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to keep him quiet the entire game. The fact that he made 1 2-point bucket is just mind-blowing because he's not particularly a good 3-point shooter. But we got to talk about late in this game. 13 points for the Sixers in the fourth quarter, 5 for 20, and one of them was Jaden Springer, under a minute to go when Doc had taken all the starters out. That's hard to fathom. What's more surprising, that they only took 20 shots in the entire fourth quarter, or that they only scored 13 points?
Yeah, I think it's that they only scored 13 points, Amy, and that's what, obviously, this game came down to. I mean, I shut my computer, I put my notepad away, I was just watching the final 6 minutes of the game because it was tied, and it was which big players on which team were going to make the big shots, right? And Jason Tatum, who had an awful game, was the guy who stepped up, and the Sixers couldn't hit a bucket, and that was the difference. So you rip up all the other box scores, and it's just at the end of the game who wanted it more, who had more confidence and faith in their shot. And tonight, Jason Tatum was the guy. But I also, again, I don't want to throw the officials under the bus. The Celtics won this game. Congratulations to Boston. But that was such a weird sequence in the fourth. The crowd was so into the game, and then the Sixers won the challenge. And then all of a sudden, wait a second, actually 15 minutes ago, it wasn't Joel who should have shot. How does that happen in a postseason game? How? Celtics won this game. Jason Tatum shot the lights out at the end of the game. Credit to you. That was ridiculous, in my opinion, that happened in the fourth quarter of a massive playoff game. That was a huge momentum shift, and that really was a lot of words I can't say on television, Amy. So that stunk. But credit to Tatum and the Celtics for winning the game.
I'm with you. It took it took the wind out of everybody's sails in that one. It was so confusing. It was real time. You're looking at like 10, 15 minutes, and all of a sudden it was like, wait, here's the thing. It was clearly a clear path foul. We all knew it. I'll be interested to hear Doc Rivers' thoughts on the officiating, because he has not held his tongue when it comes to that. We'll bring you his comments as soon as he comes out. I'm sure he's addressing the team now first. But, Kate, before we let you go, it's back to Boston. They do have a Game 7 on Sunday. What do they need to do? I mean, how do you come back from this as a team? They have to be able to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, and that's a tough one.
You just got to want it, Amy. Yeah. As I sent out at halftime, if it wasn't hard, everyone would do it, right? The old League of Their Own quote from Tom Hanks: the hard is what makes it great. Resiliency, belief, trust in your teammates, all of those things were necessary earlier in the series. They were necessary earlier in the season when Joel and James and Tyrese were all out with injuries, and the Sixers found a way. So this is the next time that they have to dig deep within themselves, because this is what stories, this is what books are written about. It is never easy. It is always hard. And this year, it's going to require the Sixers going back up to Boston, and for the third time in a series, beating the Celtics. But if any squad can do it, it's the one we've seen this year. They have been so resilient. They have been so trusting, as PJ Tucker talked about this morning. It's just about pride. It's just about pride. Both teams have incredible players. So let's take this hurt. Let's feel this one tonight. Let's take tomorrow to regroup. And then Sunday, man, Let's do it up in Boston. Let's shock the world. Let's beat those Celtics. The Sixers can do it, so don't give up on this team just yet.
Listen, if somebody needs to address the team, I vote for you because I'm already back in. I'm all in on my positivity.
Don't stop believing, baby.
I would never.
Don't stop believing. Jason Tatum is an incredible basketball player, 4th in the MVP voting. He's amazing. The Celtics made it all the way to the NBA Finals last year for a reason. The Sixers can still do it.
It's still
Feel
their
the hurt.
time.
Regroup tomorrow. Let's head up to Boston. Let's do this on Sunday, baby. Don't give up, Sixers
there you go,
fans.
folks.
Stay with it. Stay with it.
There you go. There's your
Stay with it,
positive way
baby.
of life.
Keep believing. Keep believing.
The hard. I like it. That's good stuff there. Tom Hanks also said there's no
what makes it
crying in
great.
baseball, so we'll see if there's a little crying in basketball too. It's a little bit.
Exactly. Wipe those tears
I was
away.
saying, just
Get
a
back
little
to
bit
it.
maybe.
Love you
Just a
guys.
little teary-eyed. All right, Kate, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate you so much. But I like the positivity
My pleasure.
because
Go Sixers.
you have to do something positive, right? I mean, Mark, if you're in this locker room, everyone is hanging their heads.
Yes.
I'm not saying they shouldn't. You should hang your heads. You had the chance to close out one of your biggest rivals that you've ever faced at any point in the postseason, to close them out for the first time in 40 years and advance to the Eastern Conference Finals in 20 plus years. So what do you say to yourselves? What is a guy like P.J. Tucker saying? What is a guy like Joel Embiid saying? What's a guy like James Harden saying?
You know, I mean, in this situation here, you know you had him on the ropes. The momentum was in your corner. Their best player, voted one of the top 5 players in the league this year, was struggling. Ball was in your corner, and you was able to uncapitalize. So I think I like sometimes you get called to the carpet.
Yeah.
That's the kind of loving I love. I love being held accountable. And I'm coming, if I'm PJ, I'm barking at guys. I'm saying, look, guys, okay, we know what just happened. We have another game to make it right. And we've shown that we can win in their home court just like they should have won in our home court. We have to come in there, but we need y'all on board. When things not going right, we need you even keel. We can't have you up and down with the tide. Your flow has to be straight. It cannot falter. It cannot alter. It has to be that way. And I'm calling guys to the carpet. That's how I am.
You know, it's interesting. After Game 3 and the Sixers did not play well at all, they had a meeting like that. And Tyrese Maxey said it was like a family meeting where you called everybody out. And it didn't matter who you were, whether you just gotten the MVP or you had been playing for 17 years.
Yep.
Everyone was addressed for whatever it was that they needed to do better. Jim, is there a moment like that, or is this something that the players take care of themselves?
Yeah, I wish I had an answer, Aim. I'm a little perplexed here. This has been, for me, a very, very strange series. If you look at I'm going to say the paradox, the polar opposites. 2 nights ago, this team, meaning the 76ers, were phenomenal in the Boston Garden. And now, when you try to compare or contrast this performance with that one, to say that it paled in comparison is an understatement. I mean, I just couldn't believe the way this team struggled to score the ball in this game at home with a chance to move on to the Eastern Conference. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can lose basketball games, but for me, I would have never dreamed that this team was going to score 86 points in this game.
Yeah, I think a lot of people thought, like, oh, you know, maybe it'll go down to the wire or maybe they won't win. But, I mean, it was 86 points is hard to fathom. And I know everybody out there is looking for some answers. Doc Rivers probably is as well. Here he is.
Down the stretch there? I think the whole game. I don't think we trusted very well. You know, it's a make-miss league, and they were 15 for 35 from the 3, and we were 8 for 34. I would say we had a lot of wide-open threes. We didn't make them. I didn't like how we played overall offensively, though. Down the stretch, you know, got to play through your big fella more. Didn't think the ball went there. So I have to watch the film, but I just didn't think we had a game of great trust tonight. You know, I thought our guys all wanted to win. They played that way, and sometimes I think that gets in your way, and I thought that happened tonight.
After Tatum started so poorly shooting the ball,
Yeah.
what got him free?
Just Tatum. I mean, he had the same attempts in the first half. He didn't make them, made some tough shots. He shook us loose a couple of times. We double-teamed twice when we were not double-teaming, and he was the last guy open. So I thought that the one got him going. And then once he got it going, it's hard to turn him off.
How did they limit James tonight, and what did you think of James's game?
You know, they just had a lot of size in the paint, you know. James was good. I mean, he was aggressive downhill. I just didn't think we had great ball movement as a team tonight. We got to get back. Every time we do that, we struggle. Every time we play right, we don't. I thought tonight the ball didn't move a lot. We got to move the ball. We got to trust. We got to run our stuff. We got to execute our stuff. I thought tonight was similar to like game 2 to me. We just didn't trust our stuff.
Why do you think you struggled with the too big lineup score?
Just ball movement. I thought the ball didn't move the first 3 or 4 possessions. I thought there were plenty of opportunities to swing, catch, get Joel the ball in the right spots on the elbow, and we just didn't do it. So I'll watch the film, and I'll give you a better answer tomorrow. But I didn't think we trusted. It didn't matter what lineup. We didn't score in any lineup tonight. We struggled scoring.
What is the message that you have to your players after the locker room?
Well, we knew we had to go through this team. Nothing's changed. And that's what they all were saying, that it wasn't a down locker room. I mean, they were disappointed they lost the game. But you didn't have a locker room of anybody feeling defeated or anything like that. I can guarantee you that.
How do you take the disappointment of tonight and put it aside and get ready for?
You have no choice. You really don't. You watch film. You find areas where you can improve, things that we didn't do. I thought we had a lot of self-inflicted wounds tonight. I think those are easy to fix. You get them ready, and you can win there. We've done that, just like they've won here.
I was about to say you won there twice, so I mean, you obviously got to feel confidence heading into this game 7.
We're confident, just period. We've been confident. We were confident going into tonight, but we didn't win the game, and they were confident too. It's 2 teams trying to win, right? And so give them credit. They won the game tonight.
Doc, do you think fatigue played a role in your guys' effectiveness tonight, and do you think the extra day will help?
The extra day will help everybody. It'll help them too. Clearly it'll help big fella. So that'll be a benefit to us.
Yeah, lack of ball movement and the shots. How much did that contribute to their then being able to get out and shoot?
It was the key. I thought we took some tough shots, which means you don't have floor balance. And when you take those shots and they get out and running, you're in trouble. One thing we have to do, what did they have, 18 fast break, the way we count them, in the first half. And then they had more in the second half. Right now, the transition game in this series is the difference in all the games. And they had it tonight.
You rotated Melton and George and PJ a lot
Yeah.
down the stretch. Was that simple offense-defense stuff, or was there something you were looking
Yeah,
for?
simple offense, defense at times. And, we put PJ on the floor. We'll put him on the floor more when there's one big. We'll put George or Melton on the floor when there's 2. I thought, Melton didn't have a great offensive game. He missed shots he usually makes. So we're not worried about him. I was really happy for George. I thought George competed and did a terrific job defensively. And the more we can play him on the floor, it's just never a bad thing with him offensively. So that was good for us. Thanks, guys.